Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for our sixth, seventh
I've
podcast.
lost track at this point.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've uploaded, and we are sorry about that. We've been busy with just things, the wife, jobs, uni. Yeah, it's been
Somehow we
hectic.
do have a life.
Yeah,
Believe it
surprisingly.
or not, we
Yeah,
don't just purely talk comics and the odd occasion random other bullshit on
yeah,
here.
we do other stuff. So we didn't really have an actual topic for this one. It's just kind of what's been happening in general with the world.
Oh boy.
At the time of listening to this, I assume most people would be familiar with the tragic shootings that happened in America recently.
Which one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Heart and prayer goes out for the families. It's horrible. Um, but I don't like how what they're using as the scapegoat for it.
Yeah.
They are blaming video games as video games are too violent. Therefore, we must try and make it less violent and accessible for people to stop these shootings. But if it was any other ethnicity than white, that would not be the issue. If it was Mexican ethnicity, immigrants, we need to build a wall. If it was Arab ethnicity, terror attack. But because it is white, how can we help these poor, mentally ill souls get better? Let's focus on video games that statistically have no fucking impact on violence or anything. There have been multiple studies done, and the conclusion is video games do not make people violent.
Don't you really like Wolfenstein?
I do, but that's not the point.
Okay. You make a good point. I hadn't even thought. Yeah, to an extent, the race side of it would definitely be there. It's, I guess, to an extent, if we're talking race there and blaming, it's hard to racially pin anything down on a white person because you can't just call them a terrorist, or you can't just be blatantly racist to them. You have to be kind in some
Yeah,
way. Well, in how America usually
the
works
saying
anyway.
is like, how could we help these mentally disturbed children from like not having these aggressive tendencies when the real issue is gun control and how easily
Okay.
accessible guns are
Well,
to people.
there's a lot to unpackage here because one, I definitely say like those kids, if a kid is, for lack of a better word, shooting up a school, I would definitely say there's mental issues there. There have to be, and obviously there are. No matter the race, no matter the gender, no matter what, there's something wrong with them. Like, why
Yeah,
would
exactly. There's something to
Yeah.
make them.
they have a reason for it?
Yeah,
They probably have a target who has been
exactly.
beating the shit out of them
Yeah, if
for it.
it's.
They probably have a system they hate.
Yeah, it's usually, if it's to do with the school, it's usually for bullying as a way to
Yeah.
retaliate against what could sometimes be years of suppressed bullying and nothing's been done about it, and they suffer in silence and they feel that this is the only way they can get even.
Yeah.
Instead of
Well,
actually.
it gets to the point where, they want to strike back against someone physically oppressive.
Yeah.
And worse yet is the case where not everyone who commits a school shooting survives. They choose not to survive.
Exactly.
And that can definitely be part of it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of trouble. I'd say two biggest problems. One, care for mental health and an actual look at the education system. And two, gun control. Man, is it fucked.
Yeah.
Specifically talking America here, of course, with gun control.
Okay. What the Americans need to understand is that
The
your right
Americans.
is an amendment. It can be fucking changed. That is why it is called an amendment. It is not set in fucking stone. I am sorry I might be racist here, but come on. It is called an amendment for a fucking reason. You can change it. Like, that's how it became what it is now, because they changed it. They changed it to an amendment. Like,
Okay,
it's not
but
the Ten Commandments that's set in fucking stone.
to some, it really is.
Yeah, I know. To
Let's-
some, it's a way of life, and they're good
It's-
people who have access to guns and should not have their guns taken away because of the actions of the dumb. But it is because of the idiots that ruin it for everyone else that is why people the guns need to go.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like One thing I remember someone brought this up is the fact that a big thing that pro gun laws that people who want to keep their guns. A big argument they always have is, what if someone attacks me?
Exactly.
You are not John Wick. You do. A lot of these motherfuckers do not have formal training. They just bought a gun when they were leaving the restaurant.
Statistically, you're
Sorry
more
about
likely to be injured with your own fucking gun than you
Yeah.
are with someone who doesn't have a gun.
People are more concerned about being the lead role in an action movie than they are about the safety of themselves and those around them.
Exactly. Like, I'm all for like having it and protecting yourself, and the reason it was there was if the government ever became like a dictatorship or whatever, the people have the power to
Well-
overthrow them and that stuff. That was the general kind of principle behind it originally. But
But now,
it's just, hey, we can have a gun, and therefore we're going to buy the biggest fucking gun.
it's kind of in some cases that has kind of turned into a bigger stick competition, but
Pretty
then
much.
it's also kind of culture around it. I would like to know that we're a couple of Aussies. Australia, we have strict gun laws.
Yes.
And we're looking at America. Have you ever been to America?
No. Do you know why we have strict gun laws? Because we had a massacre and the government was like, we're not letting that happen again. Give us your fucking guns. And people were like, yeah, massacres are pretty bad. We should give us our guns. But America, hey, how many fucking people need to die before you realize guns are the issue and the accessibility of guns? And I'm sorry I'm getting all riled up about this, but come on, guys.
It's okay.
Oh, people.
We are commenting on America without having ever been there. I
Yeah,
will
we
not-
haven't been to America.
Yeah, I've got a mate in there right now, and whilst he would probably agree with a lot of the stuff we're saying, he'd also, there is a better side to them. We're ashing on them a lot.
Yeah,
But-
there is good, and there are a fuck ton more responsible gun owners than there are shitheads. But it's
it's
the
still a
shitheads
case.
who ruin
Yeah.
it for everyone, and then
When usually, when we were in school, hey, just one or two bad guys are making it worse for the good majority. That's
Exactly.
usually fine, but when you're talking about lives being lost because of those two bad guys, it's not worth the good majority.
exactly, because how many people need to die in order for you to realize that, like, the bad outweighs the good in this case. Like, you're more likely to die from having a gun than you are to be safe having a gun.
Yeah, well, it can be a case of a irresponsible gun control. What if your kid gets to it? Like, people have been shot because they've had a
Exactly.
gun in the car and the kid has played with it.
Exactly.
Or even, I think I even heard a story about a dog, like, messing with the gun in the back seat and bang.
It's shot it, yeah.
Yeah, like, especially, and that's what I mean, irresponsible gun control. Like, those people, they wouldn't even have had a safety on or anything. They wouldn't have had anything stopping it. They just had it in the back fucking seat. They had it in a place that a kid, any person can get to it. At the very least, for the love of God, it should be in a safe. It should be locked away where someone else cannot get
Yeah,
to it.
like,
It is a last resort. That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
a gun.
I was talking to my friend literally about this topic last night. It's because it's not well, I suppose in America it's a commonplace thing, but it's like a knife. A knife has the exact same potential as a gun does to kill and severely fucking injure people, but we don't go around stabbing people because we know it's wrong, we know it's bad and everything, so why can't that same logic be applied to guns? If they're taught properly how to use it, a gun is just essentially another tool, such as a hammer or a screwdriver. If in the wrong hands, obviously it's going to be fucking lethal, as with
Someone can
anything.
knock your head in with a
Yeah,
hammer, yeah.
anything in the wrong hands is going to be lethal, but we all have a general sense that we don't go bashing people's heads in with a fucking hammer. There's a less likely...
For the most part.
Yeah, obviously you have the few dickheads, but you're less likely to be attacked with a hammer than you are with a gun. Like,
Yeah.
it's just...
Well,
It's the whole culture surrounding guns and
Yeah.
the way people are brought up with them and not being, I think, aware, like really fucking aware about what these things are capable of. Like, yes, we know, oh, you can kill people. Yeah, but you don't know the impact of someone dying,
Yeah.
of like what that single bit of lead can do.
Well, I think when for instance, when you said their tool, that's what I guess I can't find somewhat interesting about them. In that a gun, what's strange is, say you look at a knife. A knife can still be used for other things. It's used to cut. It's used for cooking. Whatnot. A hammer, it doesn't have to bash someone's brain. It's a hammer, for God's
You
sake.
can knock things in, you can take things out like a screw using
Yeah.
the other end of it.
A gun is a tool specifically made to harm or scare.
Yes.
It's a violent tool, and people don't seem to get just, violent is a desensitized word in that case.
Yeah.
People don't understand the fact that it's not just cool. Oh, it doesn't just go bang. You fire a bullet up in the air and it's going to come back down and can hurt someone. You just fire on the range and you're not careful about it, and you could seriously hurt yourself.
Yeah. Like, guns were made in times of war, we are
They're
not
tools
in
of war.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
we are not in a war, and even if we are in war, it'd be over in fucking half hour because everyone has nukes, and we'd be reenacting Fallout 4. But that's a completely different topic.
I think someone did a calculation of that. I think the nuclear fallout would destroy the Earth within half an hour if everyone went at it.
Yeah, pretty much. We are the only species that is capable of wiping its own existence out.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because we are...
Surely they'd have to... We're getting off topic. Guns.
Oh no, this is just anything and everything.
Well, just because... I think one of the big things with it is kind of what you were saying, the culture. Because I am not blaming video games here, but I'm saying video games, media, movies, everywhere we see, a badass has a gun.
Yeah, as you mentioned, John Wick.
Yeah.
He's probably the most iconic person with a gun that is good.
Out now, yeah.
But if you actually do watch it, he was a hitman.
You call him good, he's still going around, even if they're bad guys, he is shooting in the head every motherfucker he sees.
Yeah, and he has had military training, both supposedly in the movie and in real life, for that role.
Keanu Reeves is good.
Yeah, so he's trained for it. He is aware of the consequences and stuff like that, whereas most people assume they know what the consequences are. Someone dies, someone gets hurt, but that still has massive ramifications for their loved ones, for everyone around them.
Yeah.
Just knowing that your neighbor has been shot. Do you really want to live in that neighborhood anymore?
Yeah, that's horrifying.
Exactly, because what if that was me? It's literally a couple meters next door to me. What if that was me? There's nothing I could have done to stop that.
That bullet could go through the fucking wall if it's strong enough.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're outside, it will go through the fence. If you're outside and they fire it up in the air, who knows? Maybe it's going to come back down
Everything
and
that goes
lodge
up has
itself
to
in your
come down
skull.
at some point, so...
It's like when you see people celebrating, it's an old stereotype, people holding their guns up in the air in a big group and all firing them up.
Yeah.
That was in American Gods when they saw Vulcan.
Yes.
All the bullets went up and then they came back down like hail.
No one fucking moved though. They just shot them all up in there and they just walked
Because
away.
they had a god protecting them. But
Yes.
that's the thing. That is a perfect example of the culture.
Yeah, they don't try and run and hide because
They don't believe they can die from a weapon that they're holding.
Yeah, like they've already
People
shot
feel
it, it's been
empowered.
shot, done. But
Yeah.
still, the force from it falling, and it is still it's still a fucking bullet, it's still gonna hit. Like, it might not be as deadly as if it was point blank range shot from the gun itself.
Well,
But
at that point, if it's in the air, it's not even deformed or anything. It's
Yeah,
just a
it's-
straight up bullet.
Exactly, and the gravitational pull and science, it's still gonna fall, it still has impact. Like,
It will easily reach terminal velocity, considering how fucking high we'll go into the air.
exactly, because you can shoot,
Wow, a truck just pulled up right next to us.
and very close, I might add. He was very
Sorry
close.
about that if you can hear that, guys. You can hear that, sorry.
Okay. Truck is being trucky and doing truck things.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Alright, let's...
And truck is going.
pissed off. Sorry about that,
Truck
guys.
is going. Yeah.
We're trying.
We're currently filming this in a car in a tennis court parking lot. So
That sounds sketchy as fuck, but okay.
the parking lot is empty.
That sounds worse!
Probably because we're here.
Okay. Back with what we were talking about. So yeah, it goes up. One of the things is that I think the problem is the culture. People don't see guns as a bad thing. You know, they are romanticized. It's like a cigarette. Like, everyone these days knows a cigarette is bad, but you cannot deny the over romanticized thing in movies of a man walking outside in the cold rain, lighting up a
Yeah.
cigarette and just enjoying it. Like, everyone knows
Yeah,
that
if
image. And
anyone
it's the
who's
same thing
listening
with having a gun.
is aware of Mad Men, if you know the
Yeah.
kind of premise of that, they're highly pushing for cigarettes, being that it's this really good. It's a way to de-stress. It's a way to
Yeah.
look cool. It's a social thing. They still know it's fucking killing you, but it's the whole culture around it. It's
Yeah.
like cigars and drinking. It's made to look good. It's made to lok pleasurable, but it does have severe
Still get lung cancer.
downsides if you use and abuse it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like all good too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. Not saying that cigarettes and alcohol is good, but either way,
Some people see them as being. So.
yeah. But too much of anything is obviously is 99% bad.
Yeah,
Too
and
much
too
of
many
anything.
guns in too many people's hands results in death.
Exactly, and there's been like what 12 or so bloody massacres in America this year alone.
I stopped counting a long time
It might
ago,
have been
I'm sorry,
12, it
but-
might be less, might be more, but we're in August. Like, we've just passed the halfway mark of the year, and there's already maybe a bit under 12, maybe a bit over 12, could be double that for all I know. I don't know the actual statistic, but that's just
That's
this
only
year,
what we hear.
and that's just this year alone. Like, if you look at America's
just
history,
as bad, you
how
can't
many
see at least.
massacres have happened because people are not aware of the guns capability, and the government is too piss weak to do anything serious about it. They just they say, "Oh, video games are the problem. Oh, mental health is the problem."
The
No,
government isn't piss weak. It's a case of... It's like... I'd say... Well, here. Two things. One, I think, obviously, all that about the culture. Two, people don't realize the power behind the bloody thing they're holding. People buy toy guns in stores and fire them like it's fun. No, you have a real gun, you just fire it like you're a gangster, and it's going to hit you in the face, and it could kill someone. That's the thing of its own. And the government itself, I can see it being similar to, say, cigarettes. The government makes... I hear it's different in other countries, but in Australia, cigarettes will cost an arm and a leg.
yeah,
Straight up.
they tax it to fucking high hell.
Yeah.
like because
Getting a packet of cigarettes, oh my god, it costs so much.
like
We don't smoke, but
35, $40, and that's for like
Yeah.
a small pack, and you pay next to $80 for like a big 40, 50
Yeah.
pack of cigarettes, and it's nearly $80. Like,
it costs so much. But that's the thing, the government is making a fuck ton off of it. That's why cigarettes can still exist, to be frank.
Yeah.
Because, otherwise they would really be demonized. And so I would say the same thing in America. They've got such a heavy culture behind it. It's such the American way. And then they make money off of gun sales. They would have to. It makes it easier for military expansion.
Yep.
Like, they know shit's fucked, but they either feel it is their right or they feel like they can profit or gain from it somehow, so they refuse to do anything about it other than try and get you to look away. Video game violence.
mental illness. Yeah. With the point of military expansion, I think, and I could be very wrong in this, but I believe that Australia is to start manufacturing arms for military, for overseas military. Look, we don't make guns generally, so I suppose one good thing about Australian doing it is it would be to the best fucking quality because it is not a commonplace thing. So when it is made, it'll be made with top quality care, whereas America, it is common sight to see a gun, therefore it's like the making of it isn't as high quality as you go to like a specialist place to get something made. It's not as like refined and that kind of thing.
With Australia, so I guess, so you're saying Australian military is expanding a little bit or something? Or
Yeah, I think
just in armament?
I think we were contracted to make arms, I think.
For ourselves or for others?
I'm not sure. It might be for
Okay.
us, it might be for others, but
To be frank, and this almost sounds a little hypocritical after everything we've said, I still don't agree with public like gun ownership, and I am not a fan of the military in any case. Sorry, but that's the case. Um, with Australia, I don't mind it as much simply because of the fact that we're Australia. Like, for instance, um, specifically WA, we don't have strong military.
No,
Australia
we
in
really
general,
don't.
we look at somewhere, everything's fucking focused over east. Like,
Yeah.
this is what you get when you live in WA. Perth, which I remember someone referring to Perth as the most isolated capital in the world, which I would believe, to be
Yeah, that
frank.
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Um, Also the second windiest city in the world. Huh. Yeah, after Chicago. But yeah,
Damn.
we don't have a strong military force, which it's kind of nice, especially in a time of peace.
Because let's face it, we are at the bottom of the globe.
Yeah.
We do not pose a significant enough risk to any other country that would
Plus, we're
deem
typically nice to all our allies.
back in can with our culture of overusing the word cunt. But aside from that, yeah, no, we're not hostile. We will glass our
Aussies
own
are
race in a bar, but yeah,
Yeah.
we're fine.
Aussies are typically seen, from what I know in the world, as just being a bunch of fun-loving bogans down in the middle of nowhere.
Pretty much, yeah.
And even then, our government, whilst it's certainly got its own issues, for better or less, even if it kind of fucks us over, keeps rather good intentions with most allies.
Yeah,
China, for instance.
yeah.
Like, say, trade with China, oh, fun. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into that. I'm no specialist on that, and I don't want to.
Outsourcing our everything to
Uh,
China. Yeah. Not saying
Let's buy
China's
it back.
not saying China's bad, but like
I'm saying we're fucking ourselves over with the deal we made with them.
this is possibly the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals.
Yeah, it's great. Fuck's
Yeah.
sake. But yeah, so with rewinding a bit, with Australian military, just because, I don't know, in case, and I am kind of speaking to, I guess, what every gun owner thinks, in case something does happen.
You'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That's essentially
Yeah.
the mentality. It's
And
same could be
that's-
said for condoms as well.
Yeah. And I guess, I kind of think that with our military, but even then, if things are peaceful enough, we wouldn't need it. And B, I'm saying this from the point of view as a civilian, as a citizen of Australia. My military, I am hoping they do fucking right, and I'm hoping they won't need to use their arms. America, whilst military, questionable in my opinion, but nonetheless, don't keep the gun on yourself. Let someone else take over it. Another issue I just remembered, a lot of people kind of constantly go, well, if the law says good people can't have a gun, the bad guys don't listen to that law.
If you tell someone not to do something, they're going to want to do it more. Hey, don't press the red button. Now I really want to press the
Bang.
red button.
Yeah.
Boom! Everything blows up.
Yeah. But that is one of the arguments. To be frank, if you do implement strong gun laws, it's not going to be a case of now every citizen is completely vulnerable. It will be a case of now it's a hell of a lot harder for those bad guys to get a fucking AK, to get fucking anything they want to hurt and harm people.
Yeah, 'cause-
Even just intimidation, because at some point, some motherfucker who has no intention of firing a gun gets pushed to the brink and either fires it at you, at himself, or into a crowd.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, it's just like you'd think it'd just be common sense, but I think
It's-
common sense isn't common. That's why it's not
Yeah.
so applicable anymore. Because
Well, another thing what was I gonna say? I guess to bring up, this is kind of depressing, say, but I guess the concept of a life, I feel like, especially in modern age, has been severely drowned out.
Do you know how much we are worth? As a human, like full fucking human, we are worth 129,000. That's it. If you're selling your like all your organs and stuff, you can get up to about 4 million. But you as a person alone is worth 129,000.
That's more than I thought.
That's why operations costing more than $150,000, doctors are they don't entirely know if it's worth it just because of how much you are personally worth. But obviously you got the people like the celebrities and everything who are supposedly worth more because of their achievements, but at the end of the day, they're going to get
I'm
buried.
an Instagram influencer. Save me. Sorry.
But
I had to.
but at the end of the day, they're going to get buried the same fucking way as us. They came into the world the same as us. Just because they did a few more like better things they get paid for, it doesn't mean they're worth more, in my opinion. Cool, they released a few songs, they made a few movies, they made lots of money.
Spend your life chasing dollars and you'll be the richest man in the cemetery.
Exactly, you're no
You're
different
sitting
to
there with
anyone
everyone
else.
else, yeah.
you unless you're a fucking pharaoh and you build a body pyramid
You're
for your
still
tomb.
dead.
But either way, it's you.
When I say, I guess, the value of a life, it is rather sad that in a consumerist culture in the modern world, we have put dollar value to life, which feels so wrong.
There is another way you can like people have calculated how much you're worth. It's by your how much you contribute to society and everything. So someone like Bill Gates who runs a massive company who can generate fuck tons of jobs and money is going to be more worthy to have alive than a homeless person who does not contribute to society, who does not provide
What about,
jobs.
say, you or me?
Yeah,
Because right now,
exactly.
neither of us are working.
Yeah,
You've just started uni, I've got a job coming up soon, but nonetheless,
exactly.
So,
Yeah, so
I guess we're dead meat.
more or less, but like think about it. If we were to start a business, we can employ people, we can bring beneficial stuff to the economy and everything. So therefore, we are contributing in a in a economic friendly way. We are providing jobs, we are providing goods and services and stuff like that. But for someone who provides like next to nothing at all, they are seen as worthy less because of what they contribute. That is a horrible way to look at it, but that is just a way of determining what a person is worth.
Well, to be frank, that way of viewing things is existent today because it has become a thing. It here's the thing. When I say the value of a life, I mean in modern day, you always see the bad guy dying. You always see a superhero come in, he punches a guy, he dies, and he's off screen. Who cares? This really struck me a few years ago because I kind of grew up in that, and it was always I would hear on the news they would be saying this one soldier died. I went to my mum and I said, why is he getting so much attention on the news? Why do people care when 100,000 other soldiers already died in a war a couple of years ago? Now, that was simply a case of where I was coming from. These days, kind of think of it like this. That one bad guy, that soldier, that anybody, that homeless man who, by calculations, would have no value, what if they were your brother? What if they were your father?
Exactly.
Think everyone, and it almost scares me, but it's crazy to think when walk through the city. Go walk through the city. Just walk around, with a couple mates, whatever, have some fun.
And this is going to be applicable to any city as well. It's not just our city.
Walk through the crowd. Every person that bumps into you, everyone that walks by you, every street performer, every businessman, every gossip girl, everyone out there has their own entire life that is just as long as yours, just a little shorter than yours, that is 5 times as long as yours and just as fucking complex, if not more. Now think of that all gone away with a single piece of lead.
Yep.
That is what's crazy, and people don't realize that these days, I feel.
Or a blink of an eye and it's done.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel as though people don't really get that because these days on TV, In movies, you know, someone fires a gun into a crowd, and the crowd disperses, someone's dead on the floor, but the police come and cover the body in a second, and you're on to the next scene. It doesn't hold any weight unless they're a main character. And
Exactly,
even then,
it's
you
not
just think
as
they're main
impactful.
character, they're fictional character.
Like with
You don't get that it is real.
Yeah, like with, and this is bringing it into comics and stuff, Avengers Infinity War, with Thanos wiping out half the population. If we saw the half of the population disappear, we would care more about it, but because it only happened to our favorite superheroes,
Yeah.
it's not as, like, it's still impactful because it's the people we feel for. We've
Yeah.
watched these heroes, whatever we feel for them. We don't
But you
necessarily
don't think
care.
about half a planet dying.
Exactly, half the universe is just gone.
Yeah.
Random.
Well, even then, you're looking at a
random.
scale that we basically can't comprehend. Even saying half the planet dying doesn't hold as much weight because you can't really think about it. Think of it instead, maybe, say if, in my case, say you're an only child, you have your mum, your dad, and then
A
say
dog.
you, yeah. What if both of your parents just went away, you know, in that snap?
Yep.
That's the same
Gone.
thing now. What if you and your dad are gone and it's only your mum left? Think about how horrible it would be for her. What if you have siblings? What if you have maybe 3 other siblings? That's 2 of your siblings and 1 parent fucking gone forever.
Yep.
That's what you
Just
think.
yeah, exactly.
Just, you know, in this is talking from comics, for instance, but it's the same thing. What if someone walks into a crowd? What if someone is really pissed with you? What if someone hates the guy who sits next to you in school and decides he has to die? They have bad aim, because, quite frankly, it is a lot harder to aim a gun than most people think.
Yeah.
If some idiot kid comes into school to... I say idiot, I actually really feel for school shooters just because of where their head's at.
Or lack
Don't
thereof.
condone, but feel bad for. If he's aiming for the guy next to you, he's probably going to hit you in the head instead. He's probably going to hit the teacher. He's probably going to hit the guy 2 rows in front of you, and everybody before he hits you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's going to hit you.
Yeah.
What was it for a second? Back in a sec, guys.
Yep. Okay. So,
Just quickly, sorry about that. We don't really get much choice in the sound around us.
yeah.
Bunch of big group of people just came by and decided to stick around, so sorry about that. We had to pause for a second.
Yep.
Nonetheless, the value of a life, and essentially tying back to what we were talking about, the fact that a bullet that no one really thinks about will take that all the way.
Yep.
Nonetheless, I in general, I think that would probably really help to kind of push for proper gun laws.
Yeah. Like,
If people actually started to realize how much it impacts them, if they, because even then, I think the biggest thing is that A, there's the culture, B, people think they are protecting themselves, and B, they feel empowered with it.
protecting yourselves from
Someone else just like them.
statistically, you're not.
Well, think about it like this, and when I say someone else just like them, that's not even half wrong. You can walk up to you can walk onto a property selling magazines and walk to the door, and if the old man is a little angry at the people around him, he can pull up a shotgun on you and say, "Get off my property." So you could put up a sign that says "Shoot on sight." Just because you want to take one step on sight without having seen it, and you can be shot. So no, it's not just the bad guys. Anybody has the right to kill you if you don't have proper gun laws.
Yeah, like, what was I gonna say?
That's actually a really scary thought. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Everyone is given, the government essentially gives everyone the right to kill people by by just blatantly handing out guns as they do.
And this is probably not related, but it's because people get so offended now about every little fucking thing that because you have this thing in your pocket, a gun, you are even more offended and you can exact your, like,
You're not necessarily the good guy, even if you want to be.
yeah, like, if you get offended that someone is, I don't know, called you a bad name or whatever the fuck, that you're a dickhead, okay, cool. He said a mean word, but now, because you have that power in your hand, you can take your dislike for that comment and that person to a whole nother level.
And take up the entire classroom.
Exactly, over a fucking, like, one insult. And now, yes, I know it can be different when it comes to bullying and it's repetitive and all that stuff, but you shouldn't be walking around with that fucking attitude when you're easily offended.
Yeah.
Like,
What about also the case of, say, you know, you're talking about, you know, just people doing what they want. What if you see someone and you think someone's being robbed? What if you think, you know, what if they are being robbed? You aim at that person, you think, I'm gonna take this motherfucker out, you hit the victim. What if you do hit them and it wasn't actually a robbery, it was just a couple friends, like, messing around? When I was in school, we'd do shit like we'd take each other's hats and we'd run off.
exactly.
Like, what if you see someone doing that and you decide, oh, hey, I've got a gun, I'll sort it out?
Yeah.
No. Even if, say, you just hold it up to intimidate them and say, back off, your finger slips. Again, the slip of a finger. Like, someone scares you. Like, say, a car goes by and beeps their horn because they see shit going down. That scaring of you enough
It doesn't
is
take,
enough for you to
it
pull the
doesn't
trigger.
take much. It's just like a little bit of pressure,
It's
and then
so easy to take life with a tool like that.
yeah,
And I don't think people realise that.
yeah, like,
Nonetheless, shit's fucked.
yep.
Um,
It'd be like that sometimes.
Nonetheless, we could even talk about solutions, but it really is as simple as don't hand out guns to everybody.
Yeah, don't make it so accessible.
Yeah. Like, that's even, you know, there'd be a case of stricter, you know, even something as simple as stricter buying laws.
Okay.
Or
it is
trying to
quicker
get-
for you to get a gun than it is for you to get a passport.
Yeah, there
Think
you go.
about that.
Yeah.
Like, to get a passport, it takes nearly 3 months. To get a gun, it's 3 fucking days, if that. Like, that's pretty fucked that it takes longer to get something to say you can travel than it does for you to say you can have something that can kill fucking anyone.
Yeah.
Like,
It takes longer for you to
Pro-
step onto another continent than it takes you to kill 5 people coming from another continent.
yeah, like, priorities, man. You gotta...
Nonetheless, and again, we could also talk about solutions, you know, talking about the fact that, you know, how are they going to get all these now out their guns off the streets? They already have a problem they need to solve. The first step is really just as simple as just take that first step. You know, try and get it. It's not going to be an immediate solution. This will take time, but you have to accept that and you have to hope for a better, like,
Yeah.
you need to believe things can get better, and that starts with changing the law. Accept that.
Exactly.
The amendment was there.
Except that it is a fucking amendment. It is meant to be changed.
The amendment was made there for you to take power when you think something is wrong with your government. The government is saying we can have guns and people can shoot each other. Now you take the power and you change that law. It's simple.
Oh, God, yeah.
But, yeah, nonetheless, there's a lot wrong with gun laws, and I guess we've kind of just been ranting about it.
Yeah, as much as we can say and show you what is wrong, there is a lot right with having guns,
Yeah.
and we are un-American, we are Australian, so we
We
technically do not have a right to, but freedom of speech, so fuck you. And, like, yeah.
We're speaking our minds because we can.
We
but, yeah.
we hate seeing fucking American massacres every week, like... Yes, it is more. It
It
hurts
hits
the
outside of America.
Yeah.
Everyone in the world fucking feels it.
Exactly, like it's especially when it's children, man. Like the death of children from some idiot who has a gun. And I'm sorry, you are a fucking idiot if you go and kill a whole bunch of people. Yes, some of them. Okay, no, that's wrong to say that they deserve it, but
You feel some of them deserve it, even if that is how you feel about it. Don't do it. There are better ways. There are better solutions, even if
you
it
don't
doesn't feel
resort
like it.
to that. Of all possible fucking things, you don't resort to that.
Yeah. That leads into mental health, the
Exactly.
education system, the fact
Exactly.
that the government doesn't do anything. This is a big tree we can explore for a while to come.
We could, yeah. But main
For
issues, like, we...
now, yeah. I think we're both a tad. I'm a little at a loss for words. You
It's
seem
just-
a little flustered over the stupidity of
I
it.
just...
Yeah.
I thought people were smarter than this. It's 2019, guys. Like...
Next year you'll be
Why?
saying it's 2020. The year after you'll be saying
I
it's
know, like, we
2021.
should be
can
smart enough to know, like, the
People,
consequences
people
of
don't like
this.
change, and it's a
Ah,
case
well,
of
fuck
fighting
people
for it.
then.
You are people.
Yes, but if, like, I would happily change if it meant saving people, like, come on. And if you go into a crowded room with the intent of killing people, man,
Fuck off.
save time and just do it, like, kill yourself, man. Yes, that's a horrible thing to say, but
I
realistically...
can't condone that. I'm sorry.
I know, it's a horrible thing to say, and yes, no, you really shouldn't kill yourself, but... Well, going in to kill a bunch of people, innocent people, men, women, children, it's not the solution.
Nobody needs to die over it,
Yeah, it's...
and you
it's-
don't need to believe they do.
Yeah, it's not something you should... There are better ways.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're a victim of bullying and everything, and you use this as a way to get back at it, then you are no better than the bully.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that is a case of looking into the whole thing of like the oppressed becoming the aggressor.
yeah,
If you're pissed at if someone hits you and you hit them back, maybe you could consider that self-defense. If you hit them again afterwards, suddenly you're the one at fault.
exactly.
If someone constantly rails on you for years, and I know that's terrible,
Yeah.
but if you decide to get back at them for everything with a bullet,
You're
that's
no
10 times worse.
You're no better than they are, you're worse
Yeah.
than they are.
Yeah, I think we're getting pretty heated in this.
I'll probably say more things that are very fucking horrible like I just did. But, yeah.
We're gonna try and wrap things up here.
Yeah.
We've still got noisy ass people around us.
Yeah.
This was a little more serious. We hope you're okay with that. We wanted to get this off our chest and kind of speak about it while we could.
Mm.
This is what's going on in our world.
Yeah, we
and-
see this weekly pretty much, like on the news, social media, and yeah.
To be frank, we couldn't have not talked about it.
Yeah,
Especially,
it's-
we're talking about whatever we want here. It's conversation between us and trying to get it out to you. And this is just how
But
we
what
feel.
do you guys actually think? Like, do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments, even though I know not a lot of people watch it, but still, recommend it and
If you can, yeah.
actually bring up the discussion. Like, what do you guys think? Do you agree? Disagree? Do you think we are wrong? Like, tell us, even if it's literally you throwing hate, fine, but just engage in this.
Why do you hate our opinion
It's
on
a
this?
it's a worldwide topic.
Yeah.
So
if
please.
nothing else, use us to begin a discussion. Please
Exactly.
start a discussion over
Yeah.
this. Even if it doesn't have to be us, just start talking about this. Tell us why you agree with us, why you think we're completely wrong, why you think we're kind of right, but we could improve on what we're saying.
Yeah.
Tell us, or tell someone else to watch us and tell them to tell us. I don't know.
Yeah. Just get it out there. Just
If you hear us, let us know.
Yeah.
And let us know you hear us. Alright,
Yeah.
guys. I think we're going to wrap things up there.
Yep.
Hope you've been... I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed it, I am happy you could. I'm
Yeah.
glad you've been here with us. And, yeah, we'll see you next time. Hopefully a lot sooner than
Yes,
it's been.
and I do have a idea for the next one, which do you want me to say now or just leave
let's
it?
blue ball 'em.
Ooh.
See you
Alright,
guys.
yeah. Okay. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.